Hello, good evening, all. Welcome to this day 17th of Saturdays for Sustainability Learning. So, this is an initiative with a goal to discuss sustainability issues in a systematic manner for holistic understanding. So, holistic understanding of sustainability is very important because the one solution or one sustainable solution for one might not be sustainable for other. So, how to understand sustainability concept in a holistic manner which can be applied to different places, which can be applied to different contexts, is the question for which we are connecting over here. So this is an initiative. We can call it as a mastermind group. And if you are new to this concept, so this is a nothing but a peer-to-peer mentoring group, and which is helping each other to co-learning, to co-learn, to co-create, and to understand things in a better way. The concept of mastermind group was invented by Napoleon Hill in his book in 1925. Okay, but I really like these two quotes as you can see on the screen, and I'll read the second one. Okay, when a group of individual brains are coordinated and function in harmony, the increased energy created through the alliance becomes available to every individual brain in the group. So that is what we want to create through this weekly sessions where we all individually know little bit about sustainability. That's possible, but entire understanding for one person may not be possible, right? But we know a little bit, and that's how we can share it with each other, and we can learn, we can co-create the understanding for us in sustainability field. So that is what is a mastermind group, and hopefully this group will be a mastermind group of sustainability as well. So these are the four outcomes that you can expect from this initiative. First is learning one new concept every week. This is important. This is required. The reason being, sustainability is such a dynamic concept. Every day there is something new happening. It's not possible to keep pace with that, right? We don't have that much time every day to learn. Maybe 2 hours or 3 hours learning every day is not possible. But definitely we will learn maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes every day. And in this, let's say on Saturday, we can connect for around half an hour or 1 hour, and we can discuss this concept with each other. And that's how the learning can happen. The second outcome that you can expect is it is networking with fellow professionals. So we are all with different background, we are all with different socio-economical conditions or different geographies, and that's how the learning can happen. So it's networking. The third is career opportunities, and the fourth is thought leadership. So this mastermind group will be a pivotal point where we will have better understanding of sustainability, and that's how we can lead this sustainability transition in a better way. So these are the four outcomes that you can expect. So how to achieve that? For that, we are connecting every Saturday at 7 p.m., and the session is for approximately 1 hour, which is more focused on the discussion. And it's not only monologue or only a lecture. It's about discussing the things, it's about understanding the different perspectives. So all views are welcome into this session. So that is one thing I would like to highlight. So if you have anything to add, anything to suggest during the session, please go ahead. That's how we will learn the maximum. Okay. And generally we follow this plan. So maybe initial introduction, then the presentation to the topic. Every week we have a different topic, and then the discussion on the topic. And maybe at the end we can plan what we would like to go ahead, how we would like to progress into this for the next session, right? And one important thing that I would like to highlight about this initiative is there are four ways of, or a ladder of learning, what we can call. As you can see on the screen, at the bottom there is data, then above that information, above knowledge, and above wisdom. So this initiative is not about data and information, not at all, because in today's time the data or the information whatever we require, it's very easily available. You just google it, you just search it, and you will get it. The major question is the knowledge and the wisdom, the usefulness and the applicability of these learned concepts. So that is where the true test happens, right? So we are not focusing more on data and information that's already available, and that's why in our WhatsApp group also that we have created, so we are not forwarding any content because we are over consuming the content or information. but what we are learning out of it, so that is somewhat limited, and that can be enhanced with the experts or with the professionals who have already applied the same thing. And that's why uh, we keep our WhatsApp group clean, and only for this Saturday's discussion all can join on this session and they can share their views, so that's always welcome. Right, so with this note, let's come to today's topic, which is climate action in personal and professional lives. Okay, as you can see on the screen. And I had also asked our participants to share their questions in advance, so I'll also share them with you. The first question I received was if there could be any insight included, like employees engagement in climate action, a kind of framework. So I would also I would like you to check these answers, and maybe if you have any solution or if you have any answer, so we can discuss on that. And the second is how we can enhance the collaboration and second change management to amplify sustainability awareness and practical application of it. So these are the two questions that I got, and over the course of today's discussion we will try to answer these and many more questions that we might have. Okay, all right, so let's move to today's topic, and I'll share that in short. Just a minute. Yeah, I hope screen is changing for you, and you can see on the screen climate action in personal and professional lives as the main topic.
Yeah, Dhananjay, we
Yep.
can.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect, perfect. So I'll just take around 5 to 10 minutes to discuss on this topic, and then we will have it more a discussion round for today. The topic is climate action in personal and professional life. Here, the first question that I came across is what is climate action, right? So first, let's understand what is climate action. Was it there earlier, or when it came actually? Okay. So first is, if we want to understand the climate action, the first thing that we need to accept is climate change, right? So the these are the some of the concepts that we need to be familiar about. First is climate change. So if we go to around 10 to 15 years in USA, uh, and when I say USA, it means developed countries, right? So in these countries also, the concept of climate change was questioned. Okay, so few people were saying that, okay, this is only a hypothetical condition that climate change will happen or something like that. It's just a theory, it will not happen. The cooling and warming of the planet is a natural phenomena. So that was the opinion just 10 or 15 years back. But after IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, if I'm correct, IPCC reports. So these are the experts from all over world, and they have published this report that climate change is already happened. So it's not some dire circumstances that we are forecasting for future. It's the reality that is happening. So climate change is relatively very new phenomena as an accepted fact. Okay, so in that scenario, climate action is a term which refers to if there is a climate action, and that is there, we are very sure about it. So if there is a climate change, what kind of action, what kind of activities that we can take to mitigate that challenge, right? So when we say climate action, climate change is the accepted fact over there. Okay, then if you want to act on it, so what is the our action, right? So there are two scenarios. First is, if we say that climate change is really big concept, very big scenario, and there is nothing in our control, then we lose agency. Generally, agency is a power to act, right? So what happened that people generally tend to be negative about it. So this is very big issue, and we cannot, as a single person, what can we do? And as we study the climate change, it happens actually, because these are big issues, and they are also maybe intergenerational, and it is not only limited to one country or any one control point. The impact of pollution from one country might affect to other countries and entire world. So that is the kind of problem that we have, which is called as wicked problem, because we don't have the solution for it, and the problem is also changing. So in that scenario, understanding the agency, what agency we have, what power we have, and how we can contribute for this solution. So here, with climate action, we need to understand that yes, okay, the problem is big, but still, whatever is in my control, I can act on it, right? So that is the second understanding that we should have. And over the period of time, that agency can also be enhanced or increased. That's absolutely possible. And second is, whenever we are talking about climate action in personal or professional lives, right? We are talking about both the ways. What are the drivers, right? So first is, if uh, for our personal action, we can do it anyway, right? And we will discuss it in more detail what we can do. But if you talk about organizations, right, enhancing our capacity or getting some bigger impacts for climate action, so what we can do first is definitely professionally, the option is there, right? So where we can mobilize more resources and we can have some bigger impact, bigger actions. But we need to understand that what is our agency first thing, what is our capacity to do. Maybe a CEO will have more agency compared to let's say general manager, right? But that doesn't mean that general manager can't contribute to it. They can, right? He can. And to support it, there are some drivers that we need to understand. There are two type of drivers I'm showing here. First is the external driver. Okay, so let's take an example of any organization. There are some external drivers when I say, so that might be the mandates, let's say sustainable development goals, right? Or there may be some compliance from the government. So let's say ESG compliance, they have to publish report every year, right? So in that case, that is a driver for that organization. And second is the internal driver. Internal driver might be the goal of that organization. Let's say organization has a 3-year and 10-year goal which aligns with whatever we are suggesting, so that becomes one of the driver. And in change management, we generally study it, what is in favor of us and what is opposing us, right? So there is one complete structured calculations or format is there, so in which we try to identify which are enabling us and which are opposing the change, opposing the move. And that's how understanding the drivers is very important. So let's say if I am suggesting some improvement or I am suggesting some climate action for the organization, in that case, as a driver, if organization has already committed for working for that cause, so maybe that is the internal driver that we have. And at the same time, how we are contributing to SDGs, how we are contributing to maybe net zero target that we have. So with the help of these drivers, it becomes little bit easier to implement such kind of activities, right? Now let's go ahead and let's try to understand what kind of action that we can have. So first is starting small, which always is helpful, not to commit to very big and ambitious activity which we may not be able to continue for a long time. Starting small is very much important. Build a habit of it, and then slowly, gradually move on to some uh, bigger contributions. So that's there. Now I'll just quickly share with you one website with which we will get to know what we can contribute for the climate action. Okay, just a minute. And there are many good resources. We just need to check online. Okay. While I was searching for today's topic, which is climate action, so I was curious how that climate action word came into existence, right? So, uh, and one of the goal of 17 sustainable development goals, so goal number 13 is climate action. It's about taking actions for climate, right? So, take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. And while searching on internet about how we can take action, so I also got to know these are globalgoals.org, where all the sustainable development goals are explained. And at the same time, if we want to take the action, how we can take action for each of the goals, so that is also there. Okay. So for example, we might have the question that what action we need to take, right? So that's the common question that we might have. So here what they have given is, these are the 17 sustainable development goals. You can pick any one goal, and accordingly, what are the things that we can do? which are given. Okay. So for example, first is no poverty. So maybe they are suggesting some charity to the organization or campaigns, right? Yeah, lend your voice to fight against extreme poverty. So by voting and all. But apart from that, whatever goal you want to check, so you can just click on that number on that goal and what we can do. So they have given. So for example, responsible consumption and production. This is important for personal choice and at the same time organizations as well, right? So they need to responsibly have the production of their products and their services as well. So there are some of the suggestions about packaging or buying second hand. So reuse, recycle. So that loop is there, circular loop is there, right? So buy locally, that is one of the option over here. So there are many things that we can do, but the question is where to start and whether our small action, whether it will contribute to bigger outcomes or not. So what are your thoughts on this? So if we can open this for a discussion. What do you think? Whether a
Every
small
drop
action.
counts. Every drop counts.
Yes. What about others? And I can demonstrate it with an example. Okay. Uh,
Yeah,
yes. Yes, Dr. Mishra. You want to share something? Please.
everyone. Yeah. See, climate change is a problem. No, this is now well understood. It is established. Now, every action, whether it is being done at organizational level, at country level, or personal level, it will add to mitigate the climate change. What we must understand, climate change exactly happening for what? It is basically your carbon footprint. So, how do you see each activity when you're doing? Are you reducing your carbon footprint? So first of all, you should know what is your carbon footprint actually. Everyone, individual, as an individual, I must know in a day, what are my carbon footprints? How many kilometers I run on diesel vehicle, how many kilometers I run on a petrol vehicle, on a CNG or electric bus, right? How many kilometers I am making car? Can I do a carpooling? This is my climate action. Can I go by a cycle? This is my climate action. Can I reduce my electricity consumption? This is my climate action. Can I take a bag when I'm going for a shopping? This is my climate action. Can I take a water bottle along with me? This is my climate action.
Right.
Can I take my hanky with me? This is my climate action.
Yeah.
Climate action is basically reducing your carbon footprint. It's a transboundary issue. You do one thing here, it will impact Antarctica. Antarctica will melt, your seacoast will get submerged. So any problem which is climate change actually, so everything which you're doing, so at organizational level, you do in a different way. That what you rightly said, there are drivers for it. So it could be incentive, it could be your goals setting, it could be your shrinking carbon space. It could be tomorrow you don't have any space to operate within your own domain, what kind of carbon footprints you have of your company. So you'll have to transit. So this is how we look at actually, climate change action.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I would just like to add one point, and whatever options you have suggested, so absolutely they all are valid and we all should do it. But many times what happen, so those people who are not, who have already not bought it, right? So they may question that keep one small action, whether it will work or not. So I'll just demonstrate with one example. And that is, let's say, if I, as a person, am opting for a habit that I'll not use my personal vehicle for traveling, right? So maybe I'll use a shared bus or shared rickshaw or whatever option that I have available in my city. So if we compare the two examples, first is I'm using my own car for wherever I'm going, or second option, I'm using the shared transport, right? So there are multiple benefits that I can get. First is the cost, which is much less than driving. Second is the burden on environment, right? So carbon emission is less. The third is, in a way, I am also incentivizing the public transport with my money. So I'm voting with my money, right? So somehow the money that I spend through this small activity, which goes to the transportation, the entire system, and that's how it gets intensivized for future work, or that kind of service gets better over time, right? So I guess these three are benefit, we can get it immediately, and as you can see, so though it's a small act, but it can have the multiple repercussions. And the fourth thing, which is obviously every time I do this activity, it gets inbuilt in me that okay, I'm doing something for environment, and it helps us to contribute in a bigger way next time. So that's, I guess, these are the four ways. If you can suggest any other benefit out of it, please do share. I could get only four from this, but yeah.
No, apart from that, the very important thing, if you take an example of walking or climbing the stairs, health benefit is immense.
Right, absolutely.
See, that is almost like a lot of people do not understand the fact. In my personal example, I used to always take my scooter to get vegetables. This place was just 5 or 10 minutes walk from my place, but I used to always go in my bike and come back. But once I made that change of taking my bicycle to that place, walking up to that place, that initial few attempts are the most important ones, where you have to overcome that whatever resistance that you have to change, and then it becomes a part of your system. Then that's, I think, health benefits. Taking the stairs,
Absolutely.
walking, it's immense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And
Health
it,
is wealth.
no, wherever you can, walk, cycle, you can do carpooling, public transport, no, metro. So that's how you have to take on.
Yeah.
Actually, now you'll have to know it's more of a personal sustainability rather than I would say climate change. That we must adopt personal sustainability, anything which can reduce carbon footprint, okay, or the burden on the environment in terms of plastic, in terms of e-waste, in terms of no water, whatever can be done. Every dot connects to finally climate change, because climate change is exacerbating all these issues actually. And
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, so on this note, I'll just quickly share one. I had created one action guide for environmentally conscious lifestyle. So I'll just quickly share. So most of the point, I guess, might be covered from that. And if there is anything that we can add to it, please do let me know. So first and foremost, what I thought is ki if we want to be a solution, be a part of the solution, then first thing is we first understand, be aware of the problem, right? So awareness is very important. So what as a person can do? So I've listed this into three categories of difficulty. First is easy, medium, and advanced. So start with easy. That is the suggestion that I might have. So where we can start. So first thing is the personal understanding of the issues. If we don't understand the exact problem, then we are again becoming a part of problem, right? So first thing, you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. First, understand the problem, maybe read, listen, or watch programs related to environmental awareness. Get connected with Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever, YouTube, wherever you are consuming your content. So find some of the resources that will give you the proper understanding. Maybe if you can go to some training camp or something, nature awareness programs, go over there, understand the things. First is focused on self. Then what we can do, what is in immediate control? So that is our family, right? So at home and family, what we can do is commit to zero wastage of food and water. So this is what I have been following for last around 3 years. So I had a commitment that I'll not waste a single grain of food from my plate, right? And I'll not waste water. So that is what I'm doing. But every time when I do it, people also identify, okay, so he is not throwing one single food morsel also. And they'll also ask, okay, so you do it often. And in that way, we can create the awareness. And at the same time, it is very satisfying for us. And also for environment, it's beneficial. Then second is limiting electricity uses, right? So whenever we are not using, so just switch off. You can find it's very generic, it's very easier to implement, right? So whenever we purchase any appliances, see to it that it is energy efficient, setting of the AC or refrigerator so that we can do it in optimum way. Don't use shower. So that is one way to save water, right? Environment friendly cutlery, if we can use it, that's really great. If we can carry it with us, that's even better. Use of cloth or handkerchief instead of tissue paper. If we don't use tissue paper, that is also somehow contributing to environment. So these are very small things, but we can definitely do it, and we don't have to start all at once. Just start with one single thing and just follow it up every day. So that's how we can do it, right? So next option is a small step at workplace. And in workplace also, you don't have to commit to some very big ambitious thing that which require a lot of resources. It's not done. Just use the simple things which are already there. So maybe using scrap paper, right? Or maybe using the both sides of printing. So you can just change the setting of the printer, which is print on both sides. That is a default option. So somehow that will also save the paper, right? Then electricity uses, or I used to do this when I was in Crompton. So earlier I was in Crompton Greaves Pumps Company. Okay. So there I used to travel to my office once in a week on bicycle. So that was the practice I followed. And it was for few weeks actually. Later on I resigned, but that I had started. Then appreciating the good behavior. So that is one. Then second is using reusable stainless steel water bottles. So that's some of the options that you can check, which you can incentivize in your work environment, right? Then at again, if we increase our agency, so maybe we can go to society interaction. So where buying local, buying whenever we go for shopping, having our own bag. So that is one thing which is easily doable. Minimalism is one thing. Then education to our friends or colleague children. So that's the basic thing that we can do. And the last is about travel. So I have given this sequence. So please do let me know if you think that this is correct sequence. So wherever possible, walk. So let's say maybe around 3, 4, 5 kilometers we can walk. But if it is more than that, maybe bicycle. And it will also depend on the time available for you. Then if it is not possible, then choose for public transport like bus, train, metro, whatever available. If that is not available, then carpool. If that's not possible, then two-wheeler, or then if that is not possible, then car, and then train, and then airplane. So I guess we can follow such kind of sequence for us. And yeah, and using bicycle, as rightly said, it's enjoyable and it's healthy as well. So using bicycle as well, it's very important. So yeah, so this is one Sanskrit quote, that prakriti rakshati rakshita, means nature protects if she is protected. So going future, if we want to have the protection of nature, we need to protect. And what we can do is at least to be a part of solution. The problem is big, of course, but what we can decide is whether to be a part of problem or whether to be a part of solution, which is satisfying and better for planet and better for us as well. So this is one short action guide that I had prepared couple of years ago. So do let me know your thoughts on climate action, please. If you have any suggestions. Anything to add on?
I would like to add on some.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so actually my voice is echoing.
Yes, Nikhil, I guess you need to uh, log out and again log in, if that will solve the problem. Yes. Anybody would like to share? Yes, Nikhil.
Yeah. So I was thinking that terrace farming is one thought that came to my mind, that mostly people are doing in I would say metro cities or something. They are growing on vegetables or some good foods for their own consumption. Also, vermicomposting is one thought that might lead to biogas generation, and that would be useful for our LNG in replacement to LNG or everything. So Yeah.
So what I found whenever we talk about sustainability, so one thing is very common, that one solution cannot be implemented at all the places, because the condition is really very different. Means when I see in metro cities, the environment is completely different and the probable options are also completely different. And when we
Yeah.
go to rural places, actually, so talking them about sustainability, and these are the options which are available for, let's say, urban people, but if we go to rural people, they are already living an environment friendly life.
Very much right. Very much
So,
right.
so that was also one of the problem, that if, I was speaking at a convention, so people were from rural areas, so it was a college over there, so they had invited me for sustainability session. So at the time, what learning I got from that session is, so actually whenever we are saying keep sustainable lifestyle, right, or lifestyle for environment, life mission life that we have, so it is different for different people, right?
Right.
So what we can do is, so whatever options that we have available, giving our best to that, using that to maximum extent, and then trying to uh, trying to expand our capacity, trying to expand the more maybe more environment friendly actions what we can have, or as Dr. Mishra shared, right? So how we can reduce our carbon footprint. So what are the new ways, how we can do it in a better way? So that is a continuous learning process that we should have. But yes, as you rightly said, so these are two options that people can do. Yes.
It's very important actually. Your no, the biggest carbon footprint comes from the house electricity. So if you are not using that particular room, you are switching off your fan light, no, which we were taught, they are more relevant today. Anytime, anywhere, no, there shouldn't be any light which should be, light up without purpose. Similarly, try to use no maximum. So that may not be. You rightly said, Mr. Dhananjay. It may not be option that your house should be no daytime. It should be lit up adequately by the sunlight, so that no, you don't have to use your electricity for that purpose. But that may not be available to all and everybody. But whatever can be done.
Yeah.
Basic thing is that you must understand what generates carbon footprint, what generates carbon, and how that can be reduced. So every activity, that basic understanding of personal sustainability. So I know in one of the conferences, uh, I have come across a very wonderful thought from the chief sustainability head of Mahindra, and Mahindra is Sustainability University. He said we wanted to reduce our carbon footprint of employees basically. So from the Hyderabad airport to his university is around 50 kilometers away.
Okay.
Because every time no employee goes, a car is positioned there and he comes by the car. So he goes 50 kilometers, he comes by 50 kilometers. Then we realized, sort of university around 10 kilometers, we have electric buses which are regularly flying from Hyderabad. So see, we made it mandatory that everybody will come get dropped at the 10 kilometers distance by electricity bus, which is coming. And he says, people will pick him up by car. So he says 80 kilometers carbon footprints we have straight away reduced for each employee. And he says, from that, we are at 200 to 300 employees every day, every year, every month, every week almost they are traveling away for different purposes. So that is how everyone has to think at organizational level that what are the best ways by compromising. There may be some compromise of time. Okay, the bus will come every after half an hour, 1 hour, or something.
Right.
Finally, those kind of they make a huge contribution to this thing. Thank you.
Yes, and that's a great example of how we can do it at professional level.
Professional
Thank
level.
you. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah.
Looking at organizational level.
Yes.
Yeah. One more example at a professional level, at a personal level, what I can think of is having a bath with water which is at room temperature. Now that sort of helped me immensely, because if you look at your meter readings, and one of the prime contributors to it is your geyser that you switch on. Initially, it might sound a bit extreme, but your body actually gets used to having water in normal room temperature until unless you are in a very cold position or a cold place. That is something which I would sort of recommend for people to experiment and try. And if it works, that is something that you can pursue.
Yeah. And there is one more benefit of it. Actually, I'm trying it from last 2 years, but unfortunately, when the October comes, October, November, so I couldn't continue with bathing with the cold water. But there is one more benefit actually, having bath with cold water or the normal temperature water is, it is better for health.
Absolutely.
It is better for memory when we, let's say, age, actually memory loss is there. But if we bath with cold water, so that is good for our health as well. So that is what I could get.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, there are a number of things which can be done, but they are a little difficult. We are so get tempted by you extend your life of a mobile by 2 years or 1 year, you reduce half of its greenhouse gas emissions which it emits actually.
Mhm.
Because, so that is how repair, reuse, recycle, and
Right.
reduce. So every time extend life of your any electronic device. That means if a life is 4 years and it is no unit 1 or 100 unit it is emitting, so you increase life by another 2 years, you reduce it by 50%. So that is how when we talk about any, so there are many things. The basically we'll have to go to minimalist and don't get tempted by the companies which are nudging you to buy new equipment
Yeah.
every time. You go on.
Yeah.
People like iPhone and all, they talk about sustainability. Their biggest fraud actually came across. They want you to change. They don't want to use even same a charger with each device.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably that is how life is. And
Agree. Agree. So minimalist approach should be there.
yeah, that
Yes.
see
Ultimately,
everything
sustainability comes to minimalism.
minimalism. Everything you buy, you must think what are its carbon footprints actually, until unless that comes in your mind.
Yeah.
If you bought some item from abroad, that means the distance it traveled, the kind of emissions it has emitted over a period of time. So that is how we say go local, no, vocal for local,
Yeah.
because that's the most sustainable thing.
Absolutely.
Mm. Okay.
Be local, and it should be a decentralized system. Actually, there is one wonderful book, if you could get access to it, that is Small is Beautiful by, just a minute, I'll pull up that on screen. This is book by E.F. Schumacher, so who talks about minimalism, and at the same time, he has shared some of his insights about India as well. So let's say, just a minute. So I hope you can see the screen, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So this is one good book, which is Small is Beautiful, a study of economics as if people mattered. This is written in way back around, I guess, 1970s. But in this book, we will find a lot of insights about how we can reduce our footprint, and at the same time, the fantasy of having big things, big companies or energy efficient systems, bigger is better. So that is always we think. But how small decentralized system can help us take the system to make the system as a sustainable. So that is one beautifully covered into this book. Okay. So this is one suggestion. And second, as Dr. Mishra was sharing, right? So you have to calculate your footprint. So this is one of the good option that available with us, that is footprintcalculator.org, which is designed by Global Footprint Network. There are many options actually. It's not only one option, but there are many things, many options are available of calculator, footprint calculator or carbon calculator. So you can just have a maybe 10 minutes. It will require only 10 minutes to calculate your footprint. They will have some questionnaire, and at the end you will also get the result, keep what is your footprint and how you can reduce that as well. So I'll be sharing this link in the chat as well. And yeah, we can check, and every year maybe we can check, so where we are, where is scope of improvement, what we improved over the last year. So that is good to go.
Okay, I'll just advise those willing to just if somebody has not gone through, there is one paper I recommend everybody to read. The Tragedy of the Commons by Hardin.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
published in 1968.
Yeah.
The climate change and the problem is basically tragedy of the commons. So I recommend everybody can just go through. I have gone through. I'm amazed actually. I have not come across this paper.
So Dr. Mishra, what we can do next week, we can keep a session on tragedy of commons.
Oh.
It's very interesting, actually, interesting topic. The reason being, sustainability issues is a tragedy of commons, actually.
True, that's what I said. Yeah. It's the, because of your positive equity, you are doing something not out of something. You are just having your positive equity, and that is what leading to the disaster, actually.
Yeah,
You don't have bad intentions. You just have positive intentions, but for yourself.
right.
So that is it.
So these are some of the iconic or seminal work that you can find if you want to get better understanding of sustainability. The Tragedy of the Commons by Garrett Hardin is there. Then I guess the spaceship, Earth as a spaceship, was the concept in this book only. This article,
Which one?
spaceship, Earth as a spaceship. So they had
No,
compared the two. I guess that is another one.
that is
Uh,
different.
that is different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then another one is Limits to Growth 1972 report, which was by Club of Rome and which had a lot of awareness about environmental issues. So Limits to Growth 1972. That is one seminal work you can read, and you will get better understanding of all these issues. Yeah, I guess this
Yeah.
would be enough to start with.
Just those who have interest, to actually understand the problem. And it's very, somebody had thought when in 1968, that's how it is.
Yes. Anything you would like to discuss, please do let us know.
Another personal example that I can cite was respect to the food habits. So again, it might be pushing it a bit extreme. I have developed this habit of having 2 meals a day. It took me close to 4 years to get there. I started off with fasting once in 15 days, and then eventually getting to skip 1 meal and then 2 meals a week, and finally getting to this situation. It took me close to 4 years. But having 2 meals a day, enormous benefits, health benefits, benefit in terms of whatever you save on cooking the food and all other things, and incorporating raw food in your diet as well. So this definitely enhances or reduces your carbon footprint enormously.
Not only carbon footprint, it gives you immense benefits, actually, health benefits.
Absolutely. And it's easy on your pocket as well.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
No, that I also keep 1 day fast.
Yeah.
But what I am, partly by choice, partly by compulsion. My wife keeps, so I also keep it so that it doesn't have to cook food on that day.
That's good. So you people are advanced people, maybe in sustainability journey. But others, yeah. So you can start with small, and maybe someday we will reach there.
Yeah, 1 day.
Yes.
See, these are all our old habits, actually. No, it is in our system. It is in our entire
Absolutely.
Indian culture. And these are just, we are not actually exploring new. We are just getting back to those old habits, because after
And
getting all the damage which we could have done
yes,
to
absolutely.
others.
And there is one thought. Thank you so much for adding this actually. So generally what happen, whenever we talk about sustainability, so we as a Indians or we people from let's say South, we think that sustainability is something very new concept. It is the new invention of the West, maybe Europe or America. They have thought it and they are the leaders in it. Actually, that is not the case. Actually, the truth is the opposite. We have been always sustainable. The word sustainable that came into existence in just 1960s, 1970s. That's only the word in English language. But the traditional Indian systems, we have always been sustainable. That is the case. So we don't have to think that, okay, so this is coming from West and West is leading it. It's not the case. Actually, India has been leading this sustainable lifestyle for the entire generations. Just now, the fact is, West has polluted it so much, the environment, the way consumerism has been developed, the industrialism has been developed. So that is a requirement to have it through governance or maybe through legislations and the rules and all that. But otherwise, what our grandfathers or great grandfathers were living, so that was a sustainable lifestyle.
Absolutely. Circular economies are part. See, we are the one elder brothers, clothes used to come down,
Yeah,
by system to the new brother. Finally, that cloth will go for pocha, for some other, until unless it's totally, destroyed. It will not be put out of the system. And this continues even now. You go to a village, the whole life revolves around those sustainability issues. There's nothing which goes waste.
right,
Waste is only one snow, and it can be created into manure. That's the waste there, and which again becomes snow gold.
right. It has always been our way of life.
Yeah, true.
I haven't seen my grandmother throwing food away.
Yeah, no, nobody, food, even
Yeah,
no anything.
yeah,
Food,
anything.
leftover food used to be kept for the animals. No, those your pets in a particular wood that will go into them. So that is how it. See, we have been that part where no compulsorily we used to give one roti to cow and one roti to the dog last wala. So that is how the our whole system. This what best examples you can have a coexistent and sustainable living where
Right.
everyone is catered for in the same system.
And the requirement in sustainability awareness is this thing, because generally people think that we are behind in this and we need a lot of learning from West. So I strongly disagree with that actually. So we are the leaders into it. Just the fact is, with English language as a compulsion, somehow West got to lead it now. That's fine, but still we should have this context in mind. So that is the thing.
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
Yeah, so all right, it was great discussion, but still I'm showing the same questions at the end also. So please think about it. If you would like to share anything about these two questions, this is open. You can share. My last view is on that, like employee engagement in climate action. So what I would suggest is start with small, start with free of cost things. Okay, because generally what happen in an organization, whenever you are suggesting something which is not generating profit, right? So there are two centers. One is cost center and profit center. So unless and until it is going to the cost center, company or the management will ask the question, or they may be in doubt whether to go ahead with it or not. But what we can do is, starting with at initial time, maybe we can work with some free of cost options. So maybe like having such kind of discussion, it's free of cost. Having environmental footprint calculation, that is free of cost, right? Coming to office by bicycle, that is free of cost. So this kind of initiatives can be done at the start, and as and when people mature, so they got understanding, they themselves will come up with the solution. So that is one way, I guess, to go ahead with it. And the same thing will apply for change management, I guess. So starting with small, starting with easier things to do, as we say, low hanging fruits, to tapping low hanging fruits at the first and then enhancing the capability of entire team. So that is what I have to say. Others may please share your views on these two questions.
On the first question, what I would suggest is it's extremely important that depending on the organization size, people have some sort of a common understanding of what they need to understand what's the problem first. If you probably walk into any office and ask them what is climate change, you will get 10, 15 different versions of that. What is climate change? Now, it's extremely important if you are running any such frameworks, make sure that you get a very clear understanding of what the problem is to your employees in the first place. And then another important element is to make sure that people are very eager to take some actions or come up with some solutions. Please ask them to hold back. It's very important that you understand this in the context of understanding these SDGs. And because a lot of things which have happened in the past, have all happened, as you guys were previously mentioning, with all the right intentions. We've tried to solve something, but it has caused another problem. So before jumping into any sort of climate actions, please make sure that you look at the holistic picture, do a life cycle assessment, understand the complete picture before jumping into any solutions mode. I think that is what I would recommend for the first thing. Have a clear understanding of what the problem is. People across the organization should have fairly good understanding of what these things are, and then be very, very prudent before taking. It's not applicable to all actions. Some of them are pretty straightforward, you can go ahead and take, but some of the other actions, maybe if you're doing it at an organization level, understand the upstream and downstream impacts, the repercussions of it, and then have a clear systems thinking before you go ahead and take any climate actions or whatever solutions that you can think
Uh, Actually, absolutely right, in the sense that first of all, what you need to do is actually, sensitize the people around you. Actually, what exactly is the climate change? And sensitization through talks, through some community movies, whatever we can do it. So first, until unless they understand the problem, and then through nature-based solutions, a small little gathering, in which you do certain activities. First, you sensitize them fully, and thereafter, I think the climate warriors will emerge within the organization at certain places. No, those who are already, they know that there are people who are have a lot of sustainability in their personal life, built-in sustainability. So they themselves will come up thereafter. So first, uh, identifying, sensitizing people about the issue is very important. फिर उनके, like rightly said, talks, then movies, and thereafter calculating their own carbon footprint by some fun method, and then ask them to how they reduce each day by some, and thereafter you can put those practices into the within the organization, into offices first, and thereafter expand it laterally.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your inputs. Anybody would like to add anything? Please, you can. Don't worry, it is right or wrong, but you can share, please. All right, so if no one would like to share anything, we can stop here with this note that climate action is the thing that we all can do. We all can become a part of solution, and it can be very simple activity as well. So don't need to have some very big initiative at the start. Starting with small is always helpful, and proper understanding is something that we should build at the first, and then we can have uh, participate to the solution. Yes, so thank you so much everyone for your active participation. It was great to have you all here, and let's continue our discussion next week. So maybe with what we can discuss next week. So is it okay, tragedy of commons, if we take it up as a discussion for next week?
Yeah, sure. It's an open discussion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tragedy of commons and the concept of externality. So that will be interesting to discuss. All right, great. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
great week.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.